Well, the populist Five Star Movement has emerged as the biggest party. Let's go to my colleague Karin Giannone, who's in Rome for us this afternoon. So, Karin, no overall winner, but what would you say is the story of this election?
Ben, the story of this election is that almost 50% of Italian voters have gone for an anti-establishment or populist party when you add the three biggest ones together, and that is truly extraordinary. The governing centre-left has been dealt a very severe blow, and centre-right, led by Silvio Berlusconi, has come out as the main bloc, the biggest bloc in terms of votes, but that single biggest party, the anti-establishment Five Star Movement, with over 30% of the vote. Bear in mind that that party did not even exist 10 years ago. It was founded by the comedian Beppe Grillo. It's since been taken over by a 31-year-old from the south, but he has gone hard on the economy and on immigration. Their policies are a mixture of many things. On the immigration issue, they've been quite far to the right, but on other social issues, they've talked about giving people a basic universal income, a green economy, giving young families the chance to start a family, making things easier for people, particularly in the areas of Italy where unemployment, particularly youth unemployment, is sky high. And that really has appealed. Other than the mainstream parties, people have moved away from those in significant numbers. Luigi Di Maio is that 31-year-old leader. He is the leader of the Five Star Movement, and he's been speaking just in the last few minutes or so.
For the movement, Five Star Movement, this general election has been a triumph. We are the overall winners of this election. So first and foremost, a big thank you to the about 11 million Italians who voted for us. And they gave us the honor of giving us their vote. It is an honor to have such an endorsement as the first party of the country.
So that is Luigi Di Maio, the man of the moment, you could say, or one of the men of the moment, because 31% of the vote, we think, with almost all the votes counted, they are determined to be the ones who form the pillar of government and go ahead with making the decision about who will lead the parliament behind me. With me is Sandro Gozzi from the governing Democratic Party. It was a terrible night for you.
Yeah, a terrible night for us. I think a terrible result for Italy, but we have to respect the democratic choice of the voters, of course.
The former Prime Minister Matteo Renzi has led your centre-left. Is he going to resign? It's been such an appalling result, less than 20% for the governing party.
I don't know, I hope not. In my view, we shouldn't find an easy scapegoat. We will see. Today, this afternoon at 5 o'clock, he will make a press release and he will make a statement and he will tell us what his intentions are. But in my view, he should stay.
What do you think has pushed so many people away from your party and other more establishment parties to the riskier choices, you could say, of the anti-establishment, of the new anti-populist kids on the block?
A very bad economic and social crisis that hit Italy a few years ago, and a terrible migratory crisis in which Italy was left alone in the first phase. We have done better. We have improved the situation both on growth, on unemployment, and also on the management of the migratory crisis. But it wasn't perceived like that by the majority of the people. And especially, the recovery is clearly back in the north, but it's not back in the south. And this, in my view, is one of the main reasons why the Five Star Movement, which is a protest movement, got such a high result in southern Italy.
You say it's a problem of perception, that the improvements that you gave aren't appreciated, but when you look at the unemployment figures in the south, youth unemployment in some places is over 50%. That's not perception.
No, Italy is divided into two countries, not since Renzi was in government, but since always. And it is clear that even the youth unemployment has been decreased by 12%, by 44 to 32. But this is not equally spread around the country. It is true that the southern Italy is lagging behind. It was lagging behind before the crisis, is lagging behind even more during the crisis, and there it is clear that they got the main reason for their success.
Sandro Gozzi, thank you very much for standing with us in the rain here in Rome. So, Ben, it isn't clear at all now what happens because nobody has actually got past that 40% threshold to govern alone. The horse trading now begins, and it's up to the president of Italy, Sergio Mattarella, in a couple of weeks when the new parliament reconvenes. He's going to appoint the person he thinks is most capable of forming a stable government. We do not know how long that is going to take.
All right, Karin, many thanks indeed for that. Karin Giannone there for us in Rome.